Kicked off my shoes, stripped acid in the rain. Wore my jacket as a cape and my umbrella as a cane.
Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap. Keeping it moist. Chance the Rapper is a Chicago MC who received some notoriety after his first mixtape release, 10 Day, which was very well met by critics at the time. This mixtape was looking to build upon the success of the first and skyrocket Chance further into popularity. So far into the release of Acid Rap, I can say that that's been the case. His songs have been all over Rap Genius. They've been reviewed by the LA Times, some other notable publishers and review sites. This guy's kind of been everywhere since the release. It was trending on Twitter too. So far, from the marketing front, he's got the job done with Acid Rap. As you can probably tell from the title of this mixtape, it delves into what I like to call drug rap, where the production and sounds used are meant to resemble a drug trip. Sounds from this style of music feature high notes that are squealing and somehow disconnected from the rest of the music. And the bass notes of this sort are extremely low. Gurgling is the best way I can describe it. They just get down and they dig in and hit you hard. Best example I can think of besides this is Danny Brown's 2011 release, Triple X. One of the characteristics I've noticed from this is that sometimes the sounds and especially the voices between these two sound very cartoonish, but interestingly that's kind of juxtaposed to these very grim topics that each are discussing in their lyrics. The intro to the mixtape, good-ass intro, features great lyrics from Chance, which are seen throughout the album. He has great wordplay in every song, solid rhymes for the most part, and he has something about him, some charisma, maybe sometimes even when he's just joking around, you just get that fun vibe from him. He's very easy on the ears to listen to, even though his voice is a little high-pitched. Another pattern throughout the mixtape I recognized from this intro is that when Chance stays with the basics on his beats, on his production, then it sounds absolutely fantastic. Sometimes he'll employ the deep bass and he'll have a high note here or a medium note here, not all of it jumbled together, and it'll sound great. Here, towards the end of the song, towards the end of the intro, he pretty much throws out every card he has. He keeps the bass and piano noises from the verses. He has a little snare drum that's tapping away. He throws in some horns, and it's kind of like a bunch of puzzle pieces that don't fit, and it sounds like Chance is trying to push them together in order to create some kind of flair in the intro track of his album. It definitely feels underwhelming or like it fell on its face. One more note, the intro and outro tracks felt pretty out of place or forced. I'm not really sure what the need for them was on such a relatively non-linear album. The second song, Push a Man, has an alright start, but I think it's after the interlude of Silence where the song really hits its stride and you get some of the best moments from the entire mixtape. I think in general when Chance employs these really spacey moments and these mellow, laid-back lyrics that he's at his strongest. I also love the raspy and scratchy beat that accompanies it with these little beeping noises going on in the background. As the song peters out, it goes through a low phase which kind of represents Chance's drug use that he elaborated or touched upon earlier in the song, and it kind of just brings the song full circle. I was really liking this thing. There was one track I liked later. If not for that, then this would have been my favorite off of the entire album. It is a great listen, especially if you like the sort of dark, moody tones from a Control System or Good Kid, Mad City project. Chance puts together another solid track on Cocoa Butter Kisses, a song in which he displays his ability to write very catchy hooks and also parallel things that are nostalgic to him, but put them alongside his flaws like drug use and smoking cigarettes and how that impedes on his family. Both the guests on here do a fantastic job. They would be Krista and the less popular Vic Mensa, who in turn wrap up the song. I will point out one flaw here with Chance's rapping. This is kind of a persistent problem for him throughout the mixtape. Once he gets going on the verse, he gets into his flow, his rhymes sort of snowball, and he loses focus of the message that he's trying to convey. While I love the Dilla and possibly Marshall Mathers LP sampling on the 6th track, Everybody's Something, this song kind of blew me over because it just felt disjointed at some parts. It has the hard-hitting beat, the snare drums, but along with this rigid, tough beat, you have philosophical lyrics in the chorus, and the lyrics of the verses attempt to stay on this track, but they end up kind of scattering in all different directions, and it's difficult to get a grasp on what Chance is going for on this song. I love the That's Love interlude. It serves as a great segue into the song with Gambino, and it also stands alone as a unique spot on the album. It has some unique instrumentation with the piano sample and alternating high notes going on in the background. It kind of breaks out of Chance's mold, and it gives you this uplifting, soulful song that fits very well right in the middle of this thing. I like the wavy, fluctuating reggae sounds of Favorite Song, but the Gambino verse was a bit weak. I would have preferred to hear Chance go in for another time around rather than hear him talk. And the only saving grace to the song Nah Nah are the hilarious lines from Action Bronson. With my hair slicked back, I look like Rick Pitino. I rep the East Coast. I got a team of hoes like Pat Summitt. I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in a black Hummer. This might be the funniest I've ever heard Bronson, which is saying something, but in regards to the song, it kind of feels lazily thrown together. I know it's not supposed to be the most serious song of all time, but I do get the impression that Chance is kind of just drifting through one. Maybe it's the really repetitive chorus vocals, na 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 na, that gets old after about 3 minutes. I'm conflicted about the song Smoke Again. While the brass and deep, deep bass add some great texture to the song, and Chance has that great rhombus line, which is very good for reasons I can't even explain. I thought that this was on track to be fantastic with an Ab Soul feature, but for the first time ever, Ab Soul didn't come through, and I think that his verse here is weaker than I've ever heard him before. I honestly never expected Ab Soul to have to resort to rhyming potty training with potty train. However, this is followed by my favorite song off of Acid Rap, Acid Rain. Yet again, Chance is going after that mellow but introspective feel with his song. It really does give that rainy day vibe, and on this song, in my opinion, the lyrics are best out of everything on the mixtape, both in terms of depth and of rhyme scheme. The issue is enforced, he lets the rhymes come to him. Most notably, he stays on track for the entire song, an improvement from earlier on the mixtape. After a decent track, Chainsmoker, the outro Everything's Good comes on. While labeling this song as an outro perplexed me, musically it was a great track. Again, Chance finds himself reminiscing, but it seems more significant here after the tracks Chainsmoker and Acid Rain, as it sort of balances those two songs out with a human element in Chance's relations to his friends and family. And for a mixtape titled Acid Rap that gets some of its inspiration from the effects of acid, at times is surreal and disassociated, it was a very nice touch to close the whole thing out with something tangible and from the heart. Although at times the guests hampered the overall feel of Acid Rap, Chance himself shows some great development since his previous release, 10 Day. Although it's tough to put into words, I think the positives on here far, far outweigh the negatives and gripes that I brought up throughout this video. This mixtape has something for every rap fan, and it engaged me throughout the entirety of its runtime. It's been one of the top hip-hop/rap releases of the year so far, and I have it at an 8.1 out of 10, and that's just how I feel. If you found any flaws with this review, let me know. Anything I missed, let me know. Anything that was good, let me know. That's all for now. Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap.